keynote address at the Dotun Adeswa Symposium is business and strategic thought leader, President and Chairman, Governing Council, National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, Mr. Idoreye Eneng. Mr. Eneng has practical expertise in strategy, business management, organizational design, marketing, and sales operations. ID, as he is fondly called by friends and associates, has held key positions across Africa at executive management levels. Has brand manager, Guinness, country marketing manager, Coca-Cola Kenya, managing director, Samsung Electronics Nigeria, managing director, L'Oreal West Africa. He is currently the CEO of Corporate Shepherds Limited, a social enterprise organization to develop and enhance people and organizational capability. He hosts Navigate with ID, a popular radio program on leadership and business talk show. Ran Ask ID series on Instagram. ID is a trained economist and holds Masters in Business Administration with specialty in marketing. He is a much sought after speaker in business and leadership conferences. Please do receive our keynote speaker and panelist, Mr. Idoreye ID Eneng.
Well, where do I start from? The most honorable and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends that are here to celebrate with our friend and brother and the family. Dotun has set the tone for what you would call, it's an empirical dimension. I know Kofi has said we should not speak English. He's saying that because he's from the Southwest. If you come from the South and from Ikodopene, where I come from, you know that we need to let you guys know that it's not all about dig and code like that. It's sometimes that when you look at the car will code like that, you don't come this side. And we're talking about creative talents, and I still wonder, to my great friend here, GCFR, each time I see him, I breathe, because I know I'm safe. You know, there's a billionaire that is in hiding. You people are bordering Aliko. This is our own Aliko. You can not only adult now. He's not a kid. But sincerely speaking, when you look at how things will transform and change, it really comes from those that will carry a different mindset. And when he really said to me that he wanted me to come today, I wondered, and Dotun, I'm still wondering why you offered me the privilege to come and share my thoughts as a keynote speaker. And more importantly, the topic, very different, that people could find very... So what's in nurturing creative talents for nation building? This afternoon, I'm just going to kind of prod your minds, because when I got this, a lot of things ran through my mind. And at the end of the day, I decided to settle where I know best. For me, I look at issues in multi-dimensions. I don't take a perspective of one view. I take multiple views, and many times it has helped me, very many times. I'll tell you, one of the secrets is that people tend to meet your name without meeting you. People meet you because they've heard you are from one part of the country, or you are from a certain space, and they already frame you and put you. You know, this picture looks very beautiful. If you remove this frame, it will look ordinary. So we tend to frame a lot of pictures of our people. And one of the things I decided, I said to myself, I will never be framed. And so if you probably come this afternoon with that topic and you're thinking of a frame, I'm sorry, I'll disappoint you, because I'm not probably going to put the picture in a frame that you like. But it's a frame that will let you and I all go away thinking and asking ourselves very tough questions. It's a topic that really got me into a space, and let me take it from the academic standpoint. You know, each time they talk about the creative industry, we wonder what it is. It actually describes businesses with creativity at their heart. I mean, businesses. For example, as little as design. It's a business that thrives on that. Publishing. As little as publishing, I mean, you look at publishing and just assume that it's so easy. Music is given. Everybody understands that music it takes a lot for you to get into that space. Film and video, what can I say? That has given us some 750 something odd billion in the last, within that space. We all know. Nollywood is doing all of that. Their crafts, visual arts, fashion, TV and radio, advertising, literature, even marketing, advertising and marketing. All of those they're within this creative industry. So when you look at computer games and the performing arts and what role this can play, the role it can play is to generate income, jobs, and exports faster than many other factors. But unfortunately, we've not been able to see it. And so Dotun is going through a lens that many do not even see. And I hope even those in authority, those in power, as we like to address them, don't understand it. When Goodluck Ebele Jonathan decided to give Benga and his friends some money, they all jostling for it. All the Nollywood big boys were all jostling for it. But I guess none of them took some sit back to say, what do we do? But they always think about, the first thing they think of is the film. We need, and it starts with self. Oh, we need this kind of cameras. We need these guys on set. We need this. We need that. And one thing they never thought about, before you start nurturing, you must plant. We are a generation that is so easily used to consumption. But there are 3 dimensions before you get to consumption. And I call it the 3 M's in my own little space. It's about the market, it's about the kitchen, and it's about the dining table. You can call it MKD. If you don't know the market and you want to eat egusi, you are at the beck and call of the guy that is going to help you source for ingredients. He will add his own price, add his own money, tell you all the fables, and you pay. Now, if you know, you would direct him to where he should go and tell him specifically, I want to cook egusi, I want to cook afang, I want to cook erika engong. I need this quantum of water leaf by measure because you know it. Many times, a lot of us don't know. And because we don't know, we're taking for the food. So the move from the market, you go to the kitchen. Kitchen is where your skill. That's very creative. I mean, women understand this more. But it's somehow it's men that always win the cooking competition. I leave that to Mother Nature to tell us why. But we'll give it to the mothers that they know how. Mommy's soup is the best in the world. That is something you can't contest, right? So let's leave it to the mommies. But at the kitchen, you'll find that if you want to cook egusi, there are different measures. And you don't necessarily have to follow a certain path. But the food will come out. But if you don't know how to cook, you employ a cook. The cook, if he knows the market, is going to eat your lunch from the market. When he comes to the kitchen, he'll eat the second dose. And he will serve you a bill and you pay for it. And then finally, the simplest place is a dining table. But it looks so simple, but it's very complex. If it's not so complex, why do people put their supposed cutleries and all the instruments in the wrong places? They lay a table, and many people don't even understand what the instrumentation is all about. They don't even understand what BMW means. BMW is a setting. You have the saucer. This is for bread, and this is for milk, and this is for wine. What the glasses will stand for. Many don't know. So they lay the table, you just sit down and you eat. You're a consumer. Many of us are consumers, and that's what has happened to our creative industry. We only consume. We don't understand the market. The professionals think that they do, but they start from the point of their knowing. I'm an actor. So I'll tell you, I need a man on set. I need a cinematographer. I need this. I need makeup artist. But he or she does not take a step back to go to the point of the ingredients. And so I want to take us back a little bit, because nurturing is actually a process that is very amazing. And permit me this afternoon, if I take you on a curve and I want to adapt the mentality of a farmer. If you have the mindset of a farmer, I want to use the farming to nurture how creative and our talents involve embracing certain principles. The first principle is for us, when you look at nation building, ask yourself, what is the first nation that we are given to? And what is the nation? It's a group of people. The family is the smallest setting where the nation gets built. At that family, when you get up, a man marries a woman, if they are privileged, and just look at what I mean by privileged. They are the middle class. They are expecting the boy, expecting the girl. They make up a room, they make it blue or pink or whatever, and they put all kinds in there expecting the baby. The parents have already pumped in something that will start the creative dimension of that baby. Many don't realize it. You and I buy toys for our kids. You think those toys are to keep them from making noise? No. You are activating creativity. And so they take it, they have a little gym. That's where the white man just puts in there, and they're all colorful. Those colors depict something. Creativity actually starts from the home. Now, fast forward to a country like Nigeria where majority don't have access to those gyms. Why do you think in public schools it's very infinitesimal? When you want to sprout and take those that are doing exceptionally well, they're always infinitesimal. Whereas at the top of the pyramid, you have most of the children of the nouveau rich and those doing well. They tend to fly high and they fly quick. It's what they've come through from the childhood. But we've never bothered to go to the point of the seed and the planting. Not understanding that before we can build a nation, the family, how do parents really understand it? If my mom cannot afford the gym, she'll give me agrene. If you don't understand agrene, when the neighbors have a party, they'll pack all the crown cocks and they'll put there, say, take and play. Now, so you go take and play, you count 1, 2, 3, but it's not the same with a child that has to go through a certain dimension. Like it or not, but it's the truth. And that's the fundamental place we miss it. So that child has come in at a young age, 0 to 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24, goes to nursery school, and this other one takes the path of a public. They're exposed to measures that will trigger the creativity. Very many don't get the privilege. That's why the vast majority, they call us developing economies, because our people are already underdeveloped even from the point of birth. Mm-hmm. So imagine like Ikoso. You know Ikoso, right? Mm-hmm. So Ikoso is upside down. That's exactly the tip of it, that the big ones are the ones that can afford it. Then the base is full. Bottom of the pyramid is full. Imagine if we were to turn Ikoso up and to roll it. For a second, that all the parents have this knowledge and they start implanting from 0 to 6 months to 12 months, seeing that creativity starts there. And you start watching the child express. Each of these arts that I've mentioned to you as an industry is actually embedded in every child. But the parents, because of tradition, we kill it. You see a child starting to draw, taking a fancy to this, we kill it. We are killing, we are not nurturing. But if you are farmers, you remember that a farmer needs to seed. He gets the seed. And one thing that is very key is communication. You can have the best seeds and you get the soil. If the seed and the soil do not communicate, nothing happens. There will be no growth. So the farmer takes that seed, looks at the soil. He has to make sure the soil is ready. How many of us are making our kids ready? That implantation is starting from really small. We don't. So nation building, Dotun, actually starts from there. Before we start getting into nurturing, the seed has come through, you see it, you put it in the soil, just like a farmer. The next thing the farmer does, he puts the seed in the ground, and then it goes away. It starts to take care of it. And when it sprouts and germinates, what does he do? It begins to take away the chaff. That's when the nurturing starts. And that nurturing is when you start going to school, you meet your teacher, they take you through a process, and then verbal reasoning for those of you that have the privilege to go through schools that have verbal reasoning. But in the public schools, I doubt if they have verbal reasoning. They will have it at a percentage, but not in the full grasp. And that's why when you get up as top executives, I tell people, and I'm sorry I'm digressing, I can't understand how, as a senior executive at different times, when companies were poaching or needed my time, they wanted to hire me. They will send me to London to meet psychologists, and they'll have psychometrics. I did that when Guinness wanted me a second time around, and who was that? Cadbury. So I did Cadbury first, and I did Cadbury. London in London, started at 8:30, finished at 6:30. And then Guinness did the same thing, was the same. But everything to do with my family, they would strip you and then you go through psychometrics. They want to know if this guy is the guy that can, it's all science. Can he be a growth leader to move the business from A to B? And by the time Cadbury, the results came out and I knew, that gave me the impetus to look at Samsung. And when they wanted to hire me, I told them they need to give me a sign-on fee. And they gave me a sign-on fee. You know why? Because I'm a growth leader. So I got into Cadbury that was almost comatose. By the grace of God, we turned Cadbury around. So there's something called predictable progress. If we decide as a nation that all president, vice president, governors, deputies, senators should go through psychometrics, we probably would have less than 10% of the characters jumping around. But when it comes to the public companies the private multinationals, they subject us to all kinds of torture. But these guys, and then we now talk of nurturing creative talents, they can never pass a bill that will make it happen because they never had it in the first place. So what are these principles, Doctor? You've started a good journey, and I'm happy you've talked about, taking this for a decade, and then we'll keep moving. Please permit me if I just talk about a few ways in which we can nurture these creative talents. If you follow my farm analogy, the first thing is to create a fertile ground. Just as a farmer prepares the soil for planting, we need to create an environment that is conducive to creativity. Please don't shut your children down. Yesterday, I was at Port Harcourt Airport, and we're waiting to board our flight, so I wanted to get a drink. There was this little boy. I think the parents are probably just traveling, and they're coming in. They probably live outside the country or something. They came. The boy just walked up to where, there were muffins and all of that, and he just tapped me and said, "I want this." The mom jumped from where she was, and she came and said, No. I said, "Madam, please leave him. Allow him. Let him express himself. He knows what he wants. Allow him." I know culturally you don't whatever as a stranger, but I said, this is how we have killed a lot of creativity in our kids. And so I got it for him, and he said, "Thank you," and he walked away. And when I was going to board my flight, I went to them. I said, "My name is Uncle ID. What's yours?" He told me his name. I said, "We'll meet again." Trust me, that boy will not forget, because he may not meet another Uncle ID. Why? Majority of us are traditionalists. We're going to sit back and say, "Well, what kind of, come on, go and meet your," and then the parents will shout him down. We do that every day. Do you create a fertile ground for your child? Because it's from the family. So you would think I was going to come talk about government. No, it's from the family. It involves providing the necessary resources, tools, and support to foster the creative growth and to ensure that our children have access not just to the materials, the space, the opportunities, the need to explore. The second thing that we need is to cultivate patience, because many of us are not patient. A farmer has one thing, he's patient, drops that seed, he plants it, and guess what? Just as the farmer understands that crops take time to grow and flourish, nurturing creative talents requires patience. We need to recognize that creativity is a process that takes time and allows individuals to develop and refine their skills at their own pace. And so when I look at Minister for Creative and all the creative industry guys, Nollywood, Bollywood, all the wood, when I see them grasping for money, I said, these guys have missed it. I've never seen any one of them sit back and say, start from 5 years out. This is a picture of success. In 5 years, this is what the industry will look like. And this is where we're starting from. We need the 5 billion naira, not for us that are here, but we want to take it way back. Let's go back to the foundation. Let's start nurturing, bringing out the new seeds so that in 5 years, these guys that are just whatever age in the industry will be 5 years old. No patience. You know what they want? I want my own now. And what happens? They share the money. Ask them where they deal with good luck. The money good luck gave to them. The third thing we need is to embrace experimentation. We must, as a matter of fact, farmers often try different techniques or approaches to optimize their yield. Similarly, we need to encourage individuals to experiment and take risks in their creative pursuits. Emphasize that there is no right or wrong way to be creative, and that failure is an essential part of the learning process. Experimentation is allowed. But do we? No. If you fail once, I fire you. You fail a second time, I fire you. But Mark Zuckerberg can just walk in here with a t-shirt and tell you that he's allowed his people to make mistakes. But why do we strangle ourselves with culture? Why don't we see that in our culture, there is what we call indigenous knowledge, IK. IK is what is taking countries that are undeveloped, to being developed. Because just like you said, I think it was Kofi that said it. I know of a man, he's an Egbo and big brother, Elder Obinake. That man at 70, give him any problem in maths, he will scatter it. But he will tell you one thing. He had always said that if only they could teach mathematics and those subjects in the local language, our people will grab it. And I could resonate with it because of my late grandmother, maternal grandmother. My grandmother never went to school. But because she started fending for my brothers, not me, she took care of me. I'm ahead of my younger ones, like 7 years, the next man to me. So I saw all of that live. Mami, as I called her, started studying New Way copybook. She started writing. She started reading Queen's Primer. And in no time, my grandma moved from Efik Bible to the English Bible. Wow. And she could read the Queen's Primer. Why? She went through that process. And each time she will use the Efik Bible here, the English Bible, she will look at the Efik Bible and she knows Psalm 1. She comes here, she will say, okay, then she will read it in Rani then registers. So in no time, my grandmother, I could understand it. And that's where I'm actually going with the next point, that we need to nurture growth. Farmers care for their crops by providing water, sunlight, and nutrients. Don't ever make the mistake. I have had the privilege to have known this. Why? Because my son, Akanimo, at age 2, I saw those signs. When Akanimo was 4 and we needed to buy those computer games for him, I didn't buy age 4. I bought age 7. Because at age 3, he will get bored and he will drop it. He will figure it out in no time. So I stretched him beyond. Was going age 7. So if there's anything, give him like 3, 4. And that would challenge him. You need to nurture the growth. If some kids have exceptional growth potential, I'm not focusing on adults because most of us are Akmanla. We can't bend again. So we need to go back. And I want you to start from your family. that everything that is going to happen and change the entire creative space is when the families get that level of awareness and allow creativity flow. Let's nurture growth. As farmers care for their crops by providing water, sunlight, you need to provide the right resources because you have identified what your child can do. Similarly, mentorship, creative talents need guidance, mentorship, and constructive feedback. We must offer opportunities for learning and growth, such as workshops, classes. These are the things that some people are doing. But trust me, it's not enough because we've not started from where we should start. We've started midstream. That's why they're not effective. We need to go back and come forward. We need to go slow to fast. 2 more points and I'll close. We need to emphasize sustainability. Farmers understand the importance of sustainable practices to ensure long-term success. One of such is ethics. A profession or a creative man, he just wants to give, but there's freedom within a framework. There are boundaries. We must begin to show people the boundaries. Without the boundaries, they overrun. And you cannot build a nation if you don't successfully go through this process of nurturing. Your grandmother, if you're like me, grandparents help you in providing what the parents don't see. They will tell you some things. Your parents will enforce ethics, but grandparents infuse. The difference, they infuse it like a syringe. They put it inside and then it goes in. It'll hurt. They'll tell you sorry. They'll pamper you, but they've infused it with what they want. But the parents will give you a jab. And when they give you a jab, you resist it. That's not nurturing. A farmer nurtures and he understands it because there's other points I want to make. It's about adapting to changing conditions. Nigeria is at a precipice. Nigeria believes that the creative industry we need to put money into it. I hope that my brothers in comedy, my brothers in music, my brothers in advertising, my sisters in fashion, television, radio, etc., will stop looking at the money. What they need to look at is building the content, because it's the content in a container that drives value. Many times, people are so concerned about the container, but the container is just an empty barrel. You can't negotiate with a container. It is your content that you'll spill. So when you squeeze orange, you get orange juice. It is that content that you put in a package, and that can spell the price you want to offer for it. If God has blessed you with content and you've gone through this process, there is no way when you decide to put it in a certain container, men will be a pathway to you, and they will pay because there will be no other like you. And that's the place of mastery. At the end, there's something we don't do. If you're going to nurture, it doesn't end at just nurturing. Like every farmer, we need to celebrate the harvest. Just as farmers celebrate the successful harvest, we must acknowledge and celebrate the achievements of individuals in their creative pursuits. What it means is it's a relay race. You are showing a generation by, celebrating the ones ahead. That's why I like how the guys in comedy do it well. They celebrate themselves. So the ones coming behind, will celebrate because there's a guy in front. They'll tell you, oh, that's my, and the ones coming behind will do the same. The grandfather of them all, Alibaba, I had to, I had to prostrate for Alibaba many times over. He kept embarrassing me. Yeah, Alibaba embarrassed me. He
still embarrassed you on my program.
He still, you know what I mean? Anytime I just walk in, Alibaba will say, please, everybody, help me thank this man. Thank this man. He gave me my first million.
Yes.
And I said, Alibaba, please, Ali. I begged him, but he still embarrasses me. But you know why? He looks at it and says, if this man did not put that million into my hand, where would I be today? And so he understands it. We don't celebrate, we kill. I've seen the comedians do it well, but I've not seen the Nollywood guys do it well. I've not seen the advertising guys do it well. I've not seen the marketing guys do it well, but I see the comedians do it well. Truth spoke, not truth. I'm just telling you the truth. But then, how many of your children are you celebrating? Rather than celebrate them, you just look at them and you make it a candy hole. No. Friends, by adopting the mentality of a farmer, we can create an environment that will nurture and support creative talents and allow them to thrive and to flourish. Thank you so much for having me.